What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and today, what a game, what a game, what a game. A game that could have gave most of us the heart attack of our lives and the anger of our lives, even to a point it could have possibly given us a brain aneurysm. But Washington, the Commanders, come back and beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 28-22 after Carson Wentz comes out in the second half and throws 2 picks, but makes it up by throwing 2 touchdowns to save the game. Man. That was some game for y'all, man. I mean, that was a game that in most times Washington would have lost. They would have flat out lost that game. That would have been one of those games that we look back and say, all we had to do was just do this and we would have won the game. But with that being said, the fact that we won is all that matters. Oh, man, that was one to watch, and it was fantastic. But again, like I said, there's some things that we still need to work on, but I'm not going to harp on that too much. At the end of this video, towards the end of the video, I'm going to actually talk about the players of the game. So let's run down the keys to the game. Number 1. Attack Shaq Griffin immediately. They didn't attack him immediately, but when they did attack him, they got touchdowns. Jahan Dotson got a touchdown, and also Terry McLaurin came up with a big touchdown towards the end of the game. Like I said again, this was one of these ones that, you know, normally we would have lost, but the fact that, you know, again, I'd say attack Shaq Griffin immediately because of the fact that I knew he was not really 100%. And I knew that if all Washington did was attack him, they would have went up big and everything like that. But when they, even though they didn't attack him immediately, the fact that they did and got touchdowns out of it, very good. This is one of these things that sometimes you wish Scott Turner had more understanding of, or more consistency with play calling and seeing what is working and stick with it. But again, still got the win. They attacked Shaq Griffin, got 2 touchdowns out of it. Very good. Give them an up on this one. Next is number 2. Use a 2-back set on offense. You guys saw it. They came out the gates in the 2-back set. I was absolutely happy about it. Now, I will say this as well, that as the game went on, they went away from it. Again, this is where Scott Turner needs to be consistent and stick with plays that are actually working. Because again, this could have been completely disastrous. But again, hopefully Scott Turner works on that, because there are times where, like, there was points in the game where he was calling so many throwing plays that you would have thought we were behind when in fact we were actually up. So again, like I said, I like the 2-back set offense. It looks good for us. Of course, you saw what happened. Curtis Samuel was big with the 2-back offense. He made all types of plays and everything. He was getting open, everything. You saw Antonio Gibson come out the backfield and catch a corner pass that helped with our first touchdown in the game. So again, they need to run this 2-back set more often and stick with it when it's working. Be consistent with the play calling. Other than that, this gets an up. Key number 3, chip block Josh Allen. that was something that was big. Of course, Josh Allen, we barely heard his name. We didn't even really hear his name the whole game, other than that one play where Antonio Gibson missed the block and he got in on Carson Wentz. So, but again, they did their job. They blocked Josh Allen. They got Josh Allen off his game. He had no real say. Now, Trayvon Walker, he made a fuss. But again, Josh Allen was the guy that we needed to focus on the most. Again, they did what they could. They did what they could against him. He was a non-factor in the game. Fantastic job. Again, this is getting it up. Key number 4, stop the run. I'm going to give him a half point for this one. They did stop the run early in the game, but again, this goes back to consistency. Both of our coordinators need to understand consistency. When something is working, don't go away from it. And this is going to actually lead me into my last key about Jack and his consistency and sticking with something that is working. Don't be ready to move away from something that is working, especially if they haven't stopped it. If they don't stop it, you keep doing it until they stop it. So, but again, I'll give them a half point on this. So again, they already met the 4 keys, but I'm going to keep going. Key number 5, jam the receivers at the line. I'm going to give them a down on this one because the reason why is because they had an opportunity to actually go up more in this game. And instead of just jamming the receivers, because again, when they did do like a little small jam or somebody pushed them, they did go off their routes. But again, this is one that, again, I don't understand why we play our corner so far off of these receivers, of any receivers, because every time you turn around, it seems like our corners are so far off of them when they could be up on them and jamming them. There were a couple plays where Kendall Fuller got penalties. But guess what? If he was able to jam at the line, he wouldn't have had to worry about that at all. He wouldn't have had to worry about being penalized because he would have been able to keep up with the receiver after he jammed him. So, again, bad. I'm giving it a down, but they need to get better at jamming the receivers. Key number 6, disguise blitzes. That was something that was big for me, and Jack actually was blitzing, and he was disguising the blitzes very well. Coming towards the end of the game, not so much, but that was a point where at some point he started to back off on the defense and then started to kind of ease into the game instead of actually keeping their foot on the gas. That's something that this team needs to do. These coordinators need to do. They need to keep their foot on the gas and stop playing around. But again, this gets it up. Jack Del Rio did his job. He was disguising the blitzes. He was actually calling blitzes. And yeah, he made Trevor Lawrence play around with his head on a swivel. So again, great job. Gets it up. Last but not least, key number 7. Don't get into the mental battle or mental games with Doug Peterson. Jack actually did that. He tried to do that. He sat up there, and there was a point where Doug Peterson, which I told all of you, Doug Peterson is one of the best in-game adjusters when it comes to playing, when it comes to calling plays. He went from trying to spread the ball out to all of a sudden sitting up there focusing the offense on ATN and getting the ball to Marvin Jones more. Then all of a sudden when Washington started to adjust to that, then all of a sudden he started to go to Evan Ingram. Then he came back to Zay Jones. Then he would do stuff with Christian Kirk. Like I said, Doug Peterson is one of those guys that you do not play around with when it comes to this stuff. He adjusts in-game very well. And understand this, his in-game adjustments damn near won them the game. So these are things, again, this goes back to the fact of when our coordinators, when things are working, keep your foot on the gas and keep doing it until they stop you. Don't change anything up until they stop you. Because again, this game could have been lost, but they won. They won. Because they went back to what happened. Doug Peterson started to adjust. Jack Del Rio started to adjust. But then when he found out his adjustments weren't working, Jack Del Rio did the smart thing, went back to what was working, and it turned out successful. So, again, they got 6 out of the 7 keys. Well, I'm 5.5 out of the 7 keys. Again, fantastic game. A game that we would have normally lost in the past. But I'm excited about it. I'm happy about it. I'm glad that this performance happened the way it did. There are some things they need to work on, but hopefully they work on it and they see this tape and they see that, one, consistency is one of their problems. They need to be consistent when it comes to play calling. Until they stop you, keep doing it. Players of the game. Let's talk about Derek Forrest and him coming in for Cam Curl and what he did. Oh my God. Derek Forrest did his best impression of Cam Curl. I mean, he came out there hitting. He was breaking up plays, got the interception that sealed the game. So again, Derek Forrest possibly needs more playing time. Give Cam Curl an opportunity to rest. And again, Derek Forrest did a fantastic job filling in for Cam Curl. I think he did great. Let's talk about our new triplets. The new triplets of Washington. Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, and Terry McLaurin. All was a factor in this game. Curtis Samuel early on made every play you can imagine, caught almost every ball he possibly could, and was a huge contributor in this game. Clearly, he's something very special when it comes to this thing. Loved the way they utilized him and everything. So that was great. Jahan Dotson and his 2 touchdowns. What a miraculous play that he made at the end of the game to seal the game for us. The last touchdown, I mean, that was some catch. And of course, the captain. The captain never disappoints. He always knows. He may not show up on time, but he definitely will show up. And he did. Caught the touchdown, caught the long bomb from Carson Wentz. And there we go. Washington beats the Jacksonville Jaguars 28-22. My initial score for this game was 23-16. I had a 7-point gap in the win. They actually win by 6. So again, Washington, man, what a game, what a game. I'm happy to see that they win a game that they would have normally lost. All our players pretty much contributed in a big way. Antonio Gibson didn't have a bad game. He actually went out there, and I think that they need to utilize him more in this 2-back set. The next game, and of course, I do feel that as we keep moving along, this offense will get better, but we need Scott Turner to be more consistent. We need Jack Del Rio to be more consistent. But again, like I said, fantastic win. Great win, man. And like I said again, Carson Wentz wasn't perfect. But the fact that he threw those 2 picks and then recovered and threw 2 interceptions at the end of the game, can't be mad at him. So y'all tell me what y'all think. I felt that there are improvements that they need, but they are looking good, and I have to give them a mass amount of credit. Next up is the Detroit Lions. I don't know if y'all saw that Philadelphia and the Detroit Lions game. The score is not quite indicative of what happened in the game, but Detroit does look tougher than it was last year. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all tell me how y'all feel. Who was your player of the game? Other than that, this has been your man John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.